So let's talk about a campaign. This is the Bell campaign, the new Bell campaign. Connection is everything. And I have a particular connection to this because in 2008, I wrote a piece for Marketing Magazine, and it's actually, they titled it, I wrote it, but they titled it. And it's called Disconnected, because the argument I was making was I was bringing forward evidence to demonstrate that they were talking about, what was it? It was Today Just Got Better. That was the old campaign. Yeah. Today Just Got Better. They brought that in 2008. They've been going at it for 17 years. Good for them. Great consistency. That's a long run. Yeah. Today Just Got Better. But my criticism was, no, actually Today didn't just get better. This is just an empty tagline because the service is really, there's a lot of people who've had bad service experiences with Bell, some really horrible ones. Anyway, they stuck with it for 17 years. I've been a Rogers customer for a long time now. I haven't really been paying that close attention to how well Bell has been doing on service, and I know you're going to have some thoughts on that. To go back to before 17 years ago, it was a slightly controversial move at the time to go with Today Just Got Better because that meant getting rid of the beavers. I don't know if you remember the Bell beavers, these amusing beavers. Norm Macdonald was one of the voices for these animated beavers. And they got rid of that campaign after several years, and people loved that campaign. And it was a bit of a travesty, frankly, that they got rid of that at the time.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, do you know what? Because I reread your 2008 article just before this conversation. And it felt like you could have swapped in. It felt like you could have written it about this latest campaign because while it looks all shiny and lovely at the brand level, and you can imagine the agencies kind of patting themselves on the back, like we've got another winner, let's submit it to the Cannes Lions Awards, like this is a good one. Is it trickling through the full brand experience? And I looked on social media. So I think they've created either 2 or 3 brand videos around this new kind of positioning. What is it? It's
Connection is everything.
Connection is everything, which is a lovely sentiment. And quite frankly, the videos are very beautiful. As a parent, I felt like I could even have teared up at a couple moments. There's sports fan moments. There's something for everyone in there. But I thought to myself, who's watching these? I had never seen it when you sent it to me because we don't actually have TV. We only have on demand. We also not watching YouTube. I feel like it's maybe a younger audience, but I'm not sure because it is posted on some of their socials. But I noticed that beside the posting of those films, it's just a complete rant from their audience about the customer service. People are ripping them apart. They've said, oh, nice film, but like I can't get through to anyone about my bill that's, overcharged me or X, Y, and Z. So you talked about in your 2008 article how you called the call center. People had no idea about the ad or what it meant, which was a really great idea to call and ask that. And it feels like the same thing again. Like if you can't call and be connected and get the right information you need from the service providers at Bell, then they're not living up to that brand positioning. And according to social media, people are not happy. So, I think it's a lovely sentiment, but I wonder, is it some creative director selling a beautiful, sentimental idea that lands at the brand level and with all the brand marketers reading Marketing Magazine, but is it landing with the regular people who are using Bell? I'm not sure.
I wonder, because if you look at that on its face, it's pretty obvious that, and one of the reasons I respect it from a purely creative point of view and not whether it's actually true, but it does put their feet to the fire. And I think that can be the sign of a great brand promise or brand positioning. Connection is everything, because I like the idea of giving your customers the artillery to criticize you. I do like that idea because it pushes you to fulfill your promise. And especially in that business, when they have some kind of outage or, as you have suggested, some kind of failure on the customer service front, their customers can now use the brand language against the brand. And I like that a lot because it shows a lot of guts. However, as you have just said, if it just simply doesn't stand up, then you're asking for it. And it can look tone deaf that if you're saying connection is everything and people are complaining that, well, actually, I can't get through to you guys or whatever the customer service problem is, not a great choice.
I know. It's true. From a risk assessment, and my background is originally in public relations, and a lot of that is assessing risk, especially looking at corporate communications. And I can imagine there were probably some flags around the risk with that. As you say, it's putting themselves out there for criticism, which is brave. And maybe with the help of technology and AI, their customer service does have the potential to get better. I don't know, but it's interesting that the people who've taken to social media, there is not any positive commentary, at least from the quick scan that I did. So it's certainly putting them out there. And what's interesting is I haven't looked at, I'm a Rogers customer, but I have no idea what their current creative platform is. It doesn't reach me. Does it reach you? Do you know? Are you Rogers?
Yes, but I can't think of anything. And that just helps. That might just be proving our point that you have to, consistency is the number one rule of branding. You got to be out there. You got to keep at it because they haven't got through to me yet. Maybe some communications has been bouncing off me, but I can't think of what it might be.
No, same. Yeah. I think they have a big opportunity to differentiate because so my husband is actually a new Canadian himself. He's Australian, been here 5 years, and he is shocked by the mobile options we have here and kind of how subpar on a customer service level they are compared to the UK where we used to live, where there were a lot more options. And I think the industry has just meant they don't necessarily need to excel in some areas because there's no other options. So it's like, okay, we can have the dog and pony show at this high level marketing level, but then when it really comes to delivering at the baseline of service, I don't know if they feel the competitive need to invest in that space. So but I'd love to see it happen. Maybe you can rewrite that article from 2008 with a different outcome this time. And when you call, is it still 310 Bell? I don't know.
That's a good question. Good question. We'll call it right after.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you could call and get some great customer service and you could, reframe that article after all these years. But I don't know. But as you say, it's a nice piece, and the work they've done is really emotive, but I do also question, who is watching it and is the investment of that creative, which would certainly have been very expensive. Is it worth it? Is it resonating with people? So I guess they'll do that testing, but I don't know.
We have this thing in Canada. We have brands that we love to hate. And Bell and Rogers are two of those brands. Air Canada. Look, we both just said Air Canada. We knew what was coming. And I've recently seen, again, I didn't have a close look at it, but the CEO posted something on LinkedIn about a new initiative. And what happens? People in the comments, even on LinkedIn, are just going to town with their complaints about lost luggage or whatever it is. And the reason I thought of that, why do we have brands that people love to hate? It's because we have an environment in which there isn't a lot of competition, and we are forced to fly with only a few airlines. We are forced to work with only a few telecom providers. And that's how you get into love brands I love to hate.
That's such a great observation. It is as simple as that, isn't it? We want choice and we don't have it. And so as Canadians, we really don't have it in a lot of realms. Yeah, that's
well, there are certainly there are people pushing for, as part of our trade negotiations or non-negotiations with the United States, that we open up competition to in these fields. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath. I think we're way too committed, just as a country, to keeping the doors closed. But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll leave it at that. Big question.
And you know what? We will leave it at that. I've really enjoyed this conversation with you, Megan. And I know we're going to be talking more in the future. There's a lot of stuff that you and I can talk about. I'm more on I work with a lot of financial advisors. I'm on the personal branding side. I've done naming as well. And you're more on the PR side of things.
Yeah, PR as well as brand positioning for, so it's brand positioning for companies of any industry, and then helping them figure out that brand with deep clarity, living it with ruthless consistency, and then applying that to PR strategy and how do we tell that brand story. So yeah, we have lots of complementary skills that I think make for interesting conversation. And then we have our backstory and some training in our lives that crossed over.
Yes.
So that'll come to light too.
Okay. I think that is the perfect place to end. Thank you so much, Megan, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Andris.